to give everyone a couple minutes.
All right, for everyone, thank you for joining. Today we'll be going over the headset and Kiva partnership, and what we're doing with our dispensaries on our retailer tool, how that interacts with the Kiva team. We have Matt and Dion from the Kiva side, as well as Tyler and myself. If you're already a headset customer in California, you've likely chatted with Tyler and I. We'll start off with a few intros. So for myself, I've worked at Headset for 4 years now, primarily on the retail side, helping our partners connect their point of sale systems to Headset's retailer tool, and then helping them with that data to make some actionable decisions using that tool. Today we'll be covering the portion that connects to Bridge, which Tyler has led a lot of in California, working with the brands to connect with their retailers via this tool. Tyler, do you want to go next?
Yeah, my name's Tyler Harold. I've been working alongside with Dylan in California, really with the brands on our Insights and Bridge tool. And it's an exciting thing of what we've got going with KSS over here.
Right on. And Matt and Dion.
Yeah, my name is Matt Comerford. I'm working on the operations side over here at KSS. Been with KSS for about a year and a half, going on two. And yeah, really excited again for what everything is turning out to be with Headset. Really great partnership. So excited to see what we can continue to build and tell you guys about it.
Cool. And Dion, I know you're in the airport, but would love a little intro.
Yeah, there's a little construction behind me, so forgive me if y'all hear some jackhammers. But my name's Dion, territory manager for Kiva Sales and Service in the East Bay, based in Oakland. Been with KSS for like 2.5 years now. And echoing what Matt said, like Headset has been a great partnership that we've had in the last couple of months, to really provide value for our accounts and our partners.
Very cool. And we're going to jump in. All right, Matt, did you want to take this portion?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, we're here today to tell everybody just a little bit about what we've been working on and some of the awesome tools that we've built. I want to tell you guys about KSS and KSS Live and those parts of the tools, but most importantly, the integration and the awesome new stuff that we are able to achieve with this partnership, and just kind of give you guys a sneak peek of exactly what that looks like on the ground. Yeah, it's a tool that allows synchronization for the entire supply chain. We're working hand in glove with everybody from suppliers to retailers, and the bridge to make that happen really is Headset. So that's pretty much what we're going to get into today. If anybody has questions, if I could ask you, just hold on to them until the end, and we'll have a Q&A section at the end. So definitely jot those down. But yeah, let's kick it off. So a little bit about KSS. So we are, I think most people here know about KSS. We're a wholesale cannabis distributor. We've got, every part of the market covered, from our sales managers, and Dion's here representing that side of the business, through well built out e-commerce systems, a diverse operations and logistics team, and professionalism on every level of the company is kind of the goal that we have here. A lot of the people here at KSS came from the alcohol beverage distribution world, which has had a lot of time to figure out a lot of the things that I think the cannabis market and distribution world are, we're trying to suss out. So we're using the learns from that, and I'll touch a little bit more on that later. But yeah, KSS is really just having the goal of delivering the best cannabis distribution experience and uniting kind of the market top to bottom. So if you can go on to the next, yep, here we go. So what we've identified are just a few issues in the market and in the retailer purchasing sphere that we feel like we have been able to address at this point with KSS Live and the partnership with Headset. And this is just kind of a snapshot of those deeper issues. One of the bigger ones is helping retailers free up cash, right? We don't want cash to be always tied up in inventory that's just going to be sitting there for longer than you need to, right? If you've got a drop off from KSS happening once per week or once every other week, you don't need 4 weeks of inventory because you're just wrapping that cash up, and not to mention the physical space in overstocking those products. So that's a big issue to get away from. Obviously, the other side of that coin is if you don't buy enough, then we're dealing with stockouts. Your shelves are empty. It's not good, obviously, because you can't sell the product, but it's not a good look either to the consumer walking in the door and seeing, half empty shelves or something like that. So very important to stay away from. And having the right product is a very important piece of this too. So the right product at the right time, and keeping it fresh, right? So we want to, like I said at first, unite the supply chain from top to bottom, from grower to consumer. And to keep fresh products, we can't be from the retailer side or from the distributor side sitting on products for longer than we really need to. So this is another one of the issues to help basically increase visibility within the supply chain and help everybody kind of work together and overcome these issues.
Yeah, and I think so. And we've got Dion here to kind of speak to his personal use of Headset with Embark later. And I think if you really think about like the 4 pillars that we stand on here trying to improve is reducing that overstock, reducing out of stock, tightening partnerships with both suppliers and the retailers, and then as well reducing that time in back and forth communication to free up that for our dispensary partners and buyers and our Kiva team as well.
Exactly. Yep. So a little bit to dive into sort of what the plan is. So where does this go? Vertical supply chain data awareness is kind of the goal. So like I've said before, top to bottom in the supply chain, everybody helping everybody out. Without any communication from the retailer to the supplier, with no data, no communication, the supplier's not going to know what to grow, how much to grow. They've got to start digging and doing that information themselves. And we feel like we can kind of help bridge that gap with this partnership. So starts with suppliers. If you kind of look at this wheel, starts with suppliers, and suppliers gain access to the wholesale sales data through Encompass, our ERP system, and they can see basically all of our inventory and the levels that we're selling, the rates that we're selling. So they have access to our wholesale sales data. The buyers have access to our wholesale sales data as well. So we know how much inventory there is, the age of the inventory, and then going along the wheel, we can surface the retailer sales and inventory data to the buyer, right? If you don't have a system to analyze that already, the retailer sales inventory data goes to the buyer, but it also circles around to the supplier, right? So the project is to pass that retail data back to the supplier and to KSS so that we can be managing that just-in-time shipping. And the open communication of the data allows suppliers to make the right product and to make it fresh. So, if we're talking about flower, we're talking about a farm fresh product, right? Or at least that's what we're hoping for. In edibles, freshness is very important as well. I'm sure that everybody on this call has probably had a Camino or something similar that is fresh and the right consistency, the right flavor, or one that's been sitting there for a year, maybe more, collecting dust. And it's not the same experience in any way. It doesn't have the same effects. It doesn't have the same flavor, doesn't have the same consistency. And flower is even more of an impacted product. So we can't have it sitting on our shelves or your shelves collecting dust. So that is the completion of this circle helps us achieve those goals. And I think one thing that's really important to call out here too is the reassurance of data privacy. So each supplier that uses any part of our platform can only see their own data. They can see only, Kiva can only see Kiva data, full stop. Any buyer or any retail account that uses any part of the platform can only see their own data, full stop. There's no crossover there. We use the same validation for users on every level of the platform, from KSS Live through Encompass.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to make, Matt. It's this relationship that Headset and our distributors, brands, and suppliers are creating with their dispensaries it's really just between the dispensary and the brand. So the brand is never seeing anyone else's sales and inventory. This is strictly between a brand and a retailer. And I'll explain a little bit more about the retailer tool that all of our dispensaries use to send this data in a slide or two here. It might make a little more sense then as well.
And I guess the last piece on that wheel too is, and regarding the data, is Headset is using all of the data, right? So Headset absorbs it all and uses it all to get smarter and get better. But yeah, thanks for the clarification on that, Dylan.
Yeah. Yeah, so that partnership, Matt, did you want to take this first, and then I can talk about our point of sale integrations?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, just a couple notes on this one. I mean, our goal at KSS again is to bring learns from other markets into cannabis, and I think that we've found a really great partnership with this. Again, a lot of people in our organization came from alcohol bev, and I personally was a product manager at a software company working with alcohol and beverage, and I tried to create a product master for alcohol and beverage so that Bud Light in one retail location was the same product as Bud Light in another retail location or another distributor location. And even with UPCs that are the same for the same product, it's incredibly difficult to do. It's challenging to scan that data, get it back to suppliers. Alcohol has fewer POS systems even than cannabis has. And nonetheless, it was a very, very difficult undertaking. Then we came across Headset, who has integrated with all these POS systems and has normalized the data to make it clean and easy to work with. And I just, from personal experience, I can tell you it's no small feat, but Headset makes it work pretty seamlessly. We have been able, KSS, to build an integration with this product master that Headset has created. And yeah, the intelligence of the system is just pretty amazing to me. The integration was built on our side in 2 weeks with Headset. They make it easy to do. New products are automatically related in their database. New customers are automatically related in their database. And that all kind of comes together to make it possible to scale this, which is a very important measure of what we can accomplish.
Yeah, so Headsets comes from the founders of Leafly. So they've been in the cannabis tech game for quite a while. And one of the things we really pride ourselves on is our point of sale integrations. As Matt had mentioned, we're connected to over 30 different point of sale systems across North America, so USA and Canada as well. And through that, we normalize all that information into one standard view. So if you are a dispensary that has multiple point of sale systems across several stores, all that information does come in as an apples to apples viewpoint in the retailer tool that I'll explain here on the next slide as well. So for all of our dispensaries, they use this product called Headset Retailer. This is a way, so not all point of sale data is very visual. And so we are professionals at taking that raw point of sale data, that reporting information, and turning that into like an analytics view. So you basically see things like we pride ourselves on our inventory management, marketing, bud tender analytics, and then as well sales reporting. These dashboards on our base model, the Retailer Pulse platform, is all complementary with these point of sale integrations. So this is a free partnership for you to join. There are other modules to upgrade to, but Today, it's really about this free retailer pulse tool, getting a hold of that inventory management from your side as well as a dispensary using this retailer pulse tool, but then also partnering with suppliers like KSS who've taken this integration above and beyond and provided this integration with their ERP system, which then benefits you as a KSS Live user, where we can surface your retailer data on their website for an easier ordering process. Matt, do you want to walk us through that, how that web works?
Yeah, a little bit about how that data actually is flowing. So starting with headset in the bottom right corner there. So that data that's coming from headset is being fed around to Snowflake, the database, the SQL database that manages basically all of the storage of all of the information here. And from Snowflake, it moves on to Encompass, which is our ERP software. That's the software that we use for basically everything end to end, from purchasing from our suppliers all the way through warehousing and sales and accounting. So from Snowflake to Encompass, and then Encompass is able to make that available to the sales team on mobile or desktop in that top diagram there. Lots going on, lots of colors there, but that brings it up to the sales team. So through both the mobile application and through the desktop application, we'll touch a little bit more on this on the next slide, but available to KSS sales reps there with lots of really good information and in-depth analytics. And then if we follow it the other way, so Encompass also feeds into KSS Live. So talked a lot about KSS Live. I know that not everybody here is familiar, and we will touch on that more in the next two slides as well. But KSS Live makes all of the information that we're gathering and basically extrapolating important metrics from, it makes it available to buyers, retailers, and suppliers and our sales reps all in one place. It is an e-commerce platform, right? So to complete the cycle, then after the data is interacted with, it then goes back to headset and brings us full circle there.
Right on.
So here is just kind of a sneak peek at what the product is, right? So what are people interacting with? We've got KSS Live on the left. So KSS Live is our e-commerce ordering platform. It's business to business, right? So it's coming from KSS to your retail buyer. And we've got Encompass on the right. So in both situations, we are showing the inventory at the retailer. That inventory is being brought in from headset through your POS system. And from that, we've got inventory, and we've also got depletions data. So how quickly are these products selling? What is the run rate? And we can extrapolate then how many units you have, how many units you sell per day, how many days of inventory do you have on hand. We can then use that and help you build orders to reach a certain number of days of inventory to conquer those issues, right? Those underlying fundamental problems that we talked about in the first slide. So make sure we're not overselling to you, make sure that nothing's sitting on your shelves for too long. It also helps us make sure we're not overbuying from our suppliers, which makes sure that they're not overproducing. So we don't have old flower going to month after month.
Yeah, a goal in this partnership, as we've mentioned, is to provide the dispensaries with the order, with the proper amount of inventory to make it a certain days on hand or days of inventory, as shown here on KSS Live. To focus in on a time frame rather than a total order amount, just to ensure that you can always make it a certain number of days that you'd like to order for. Matt, I can pause this screen share and pass over to you for a product demo.
Let's do it. So I'm going to, share KSS Live with you and kind of what the experience looks like here.
And so again, Matt, this would be from a retailer's perspective, from a buyer's perspective. You're able to log on to KSS Live and order off of that website, to which a KSS Live rep would then facilitate the order and drop off, correct?
Exactly. Yep. No downloads needed, no applications or anything. Just log in with your browser and use it just like, an Amazon or any other e-commerce platform that you're used to. So I'm going to share my screen here, and what you're going to see here is strictly test data. We're in a test database right now, so none of this is actually representative of any real numbers, but it is the accurate workflow, right? So yeah, so essentially what we're looking at here is KSS Live. This is the main shop page. So we've got multiple different ways that we can look at this data. We've got the catalog view, which we're in right now. Obviously, good for kind of seeing the images of the products, a little bit larger scale. I could give you a very in-depth tutorial on how we use this and all the different pieces. Definitely reach out to me if you're interested in that moving forward. But I don't think we have time quite for the whole demo of KSS Live, more right now about how we use it with the interaction and the data that we're getting from Headset. So a couple different views. We've got catalog, we've got order sheet, which is, both of those are really good for finding new products, finding new placements, investigating, I want to see beverages or concentrates, vapes, flour, whatever. I want to bring in new products, right? That's the catalog and the order sheet. But because buyers do have to deal with these issues that we talked about in the beginning of the presentation, we created the inventory page and again, work with Headset to bring in valid information that helps us tackle the issues. So I'm just gonna break down what we're looking at here. Left to right, we've got, the brand that we're looking at, the product name, what is the current price, and then the real important one here is the retail inventory. So this is data being pulled directly from Headset, dropped into KSS Live, and it is telling us what your current inventory is, fed live from your POS system. These products are specifically the products that you have purchased in the past, right? When you log in and you're in your account, these are the products that you have purchased with your live inventory. So yeah, just to kind of go through what the workflow looks like, we go in and we can see that this product, right, we have only one case left. And so total days of inventory is less than 1 day. So if we say, well, we get pickups from KSS or drop, deliveries from KSS once per week, maybe I want 9 days of inventory. I can plug in a 9 right there and it does the math, runs the depletion data in the background and says that's 27 cases to get me up to 9 days of inventory. This one I've only got 2. I want to also do 9, just like that. And if maybe you've got a bit of a different approach, right? Like I think I'd rather buy 5 cases and see what that turns out for DOI. It's going to update the other way, right? So that was a lucky guess that it happened to update to 9. I could have been any number. But yeah, it does the math the other way for you. So you can basically go down and say, all right, well, I need at least 9 days of inventory of everything, right? So this is going to be my order. We're not going to go through this whole thing here today, right now. But you go through this workflow, allows us to purchase a proper amount of inventory so that we are, again, solving those core problems. We are not misusing our cash or our retail space by buying more inventory than we're going to need. We are not avoiding stuff, we're avoiding stockouts. We don't want those empty shelves, so we're buying enough to get us through, right? So the reason I did 9 instead of 7 is just to build in a little bit of a buffer, call it 7. And you know that you're not spending more money and buying more product than you need to, which is going to be a benefit for everybody throughout the supply chain. Yeah, and
Right.
yeah, we can't predict the future, but we can help you plan for it, right? And if you want to avoid these stockouts, want to increase the accuracy of your inventory, and yeah, like Dylan said before as well, eliminate some unnecessary communication that has to go back and forth. Use KSS Live, use this feature with Headset, and manage your orders from the start for a bit of a upgraded buying experience. So,
and Matt, if someone would be new to KSS Live, they are a KSS buyer, but they've never used this before, how would they get set up?
So if you go to app.kivasales.com, you're going to see this screen. And if you want to become, if you're already a KSS customer, you can just click right here to sign up. That's going to basically fire up a task on the KSS side, and we're going to get you set up as a customer, validate some details. And if you're not a KSS customer, then there's a link here as well to get on board with KSS as a distribution.
Very cool.
So that's what I've got for the KSS Live presentation. Again, lots of really great stuff. I hope you guys have some questions for the end, but for right now, Dion is going to bless us with some case studies and some information that he's gathered in his time in the market. So I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over to Dion.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Matt and Dylan really just kind of knocked it out on every point that Headset has brought to KSS and our ability to provide more support and trust and partnership to our accounts as we continue to grow and ride the waves of this industry. We know that it's been going through all types of the ringer right now. And Headset helps give us some stability in a volatile market to be able to make sure your shelves are fully stocked and you're not, overstocking or out of stocking. And my background before coming into the cannabis industry was in sports, and one of our biggest takeaways, is best ability is availability. And Headset gives us that opportunity to have the correct amount of availability for not only our account partners, but also our suppliers, with making sure that they're producing enough product for the demand that the accounts have that are using Headset, and the accounts having the availability of space, of inventory, of cash on hand, of time back as a buyer. And, I'm not sure if it's all buyers on this call, but we all know we could use some time back in our day. We're pulled in so many different directions, and Headset and KSS Live, having this partnership here really drops your time of having to comb through information, figure out what do I need, what do I not need, what do I not have, so on and so forth, into a really, really just easy block of time during your day. So from my experience, I have several accounts that are on Headset, but we're going to speak about Embark today. That is in the East Bay. I would say our best performing account, and a part of that is due to the usage of Headset and their trust in me to be able to have time during the week, put it together Mondays or Thursdays, and we go over, this is a 9-store chain that we're talking about. We go over 5 on Monday and we go over 4 on Thursday, and we're good for the week. And this is in 30-minute time blocks, so we're able to I can knock out the information that I need for the account going into the meeting 15, 20 minutes before the meeting for all the stores that we're going to cover. And we cover the stores in 30 minutes or less, so we're able to do this every single week. No issues, no, miscommunication. We're full transparency with what we're able to offer. And then also on the back end too, what they're talking about with the supplier partners not want to share data and everything like that. Like there's absolutely no crossover there. Even with the stores that I work with that have Headset, I'm not sharing stores data to other stores or anything like that. Like that's not something that any of us would want to entertain. We want a fair market. We want to make sure that everybody just has transparency to be able to know what they have on hand. So for Embark, again, we've taken this account from 9 stores, best in the East Bay. There's another account that I work with that has a similar setup, similar structured number of stores, locations, things of that nature, carrying the same similar number of brands as well. And Embark has doubled, almost tripled them up on the year. So it's been a significant advantage to be able to have Headset in the portfolio and just add that layer of trust, add that layer of transparency, and make sure that everybody's running as efficiently as possible. Because again, like we don't want wasted space, wasted time, wasted cash, wasted product. That does nobody any amount of good. So Headset and KSS Live, match made in heaven right now.
Awesome, Dion. And if you could kind of reflect, so you mentioned 30 minutes just to deal with 5 stores. I think that sounds like a pretty impressive feat. for another 5-store chain, what kind of time frame is that looking like to go through numbers, to go through different point of sale data? How long is that taking you with other groups?
Hours. It can take hours, and sometimes it's not even, me being in there putting the order together, even if the buyer has a block of time that they're putting together the orders that they need for their week. But from them talking to me like, hey man, this took me like 3-4 hours. I'm like, I'm here to help you for that, for that reason. And Headset helps bring that time down even more. But it's hours that we're saving on a week in, week out basis. And then on the other end, real quick, the thing that Headset also has allowed us to identify, especially with multi stores, is shells for your SKUs and who has the ability to input them into the system, and then how many possible duplicates there are in the system due to just like a space or a colon or something missing a parentheses or something being misspelled. So now when it comes in again, and if it gets input by someone else in a different format, now you could be looking at in your internal system duplicate information, and now you're overbuying because something might be overstocked, but then you don't see that it's actually in stock just with a different punctuation or something of that nature. So it holds everybody accountable to follow a crisp process to make sure just everything is efficient and we're clear and we're transparent with what we're delivering.
Nice. And then when we met before, Dion, you had also mentioned stuff like, I think the biggest goal is reducing these out of stock events, but then when there are slow movers and just products that aren't really working for a certain store, can you walk us through some of your process on what that conversation looks like with you and that buyer?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for Embark, we this actually just popped up, not too long ago, where there was just a category for a brand that does really well for Embark, that we've seen a slowdown on, and we've seen inventory kind of sit for a little bit longer than what we would like in that window. And also back up real quick with how we're ordering, like even with Embark, and their 9 stores, we still order for different levels, days of inventory on hand. Some of the stores, they want to go a little larger. Some of the smaller stores, we go smaller, and it's fine. There's no issue. The data is still clean there. But to your point about anything that's sitting at the shop, we are able to come in, week out, see these same SKUs that just haven't really moved too much. We can see their rate of sale through the day. We can see how many days of inventory we have. And now we can put a promo together to be like, okay, let's like really try to focus on this product right here that we know we have a slowdown. We know it does well for you, but it might be time of year, cost, whatever it may be. So now we can identify some opportunities to give back to the customer while also making sure that you have product that's not sitting on your shelf, taking up space and wasting time and money for you.
Awesome. Very cool.
Absolutely. So 10 out of 10 would recommend on Headset for sure.
Whoop. We do have some customer quotes as well, to highlight a little bit about what Dion was mentioning, just from a retailer's perspective. Chelsea's a big fan of Headset at Kind Delivery, and she's saying that she easily saves 6 hours per week working with brands that can suggest these orders to her to help with that. And then as well, Perfect Union, Heather Copeland, purchasing manager, really ensuring that these are accurate reorders too. The whole goal is really not to overstock you, but to reduce those out of stock events, reduce your locked up capital, slow movers, things like that, and really build a better partnership between the brand and retailer. That does take us to a Q&A session. It's my first time running one of these webinars, so we gotta figure out how to do the Q&A session. Alex Schreier, is there already is this already active if I already have KSS Live and a Headset account? Not necessarily. In order to get set up through that connection, you would just need to email myself with the approval to connect. We're never at Headset going to release this data without your approval. So that has to come first and foremost. There is an option to become what we would call an auto connect, which would mean that any brand on your shelf, they sign up for Headset, they can gain access to this. But as we're just talking about KSS today, I'll drop my email in the chat bubble here, and if that's something that you'd like to get set up, we'd be happy to help out. I'm gonna drop that here. If you don't currently have headset, there is an option to click the link that Tyler has also dropped in the chat bubble, which has our headset connect for Bridge. By putting your details in there, that would connect you with our support team, who can help you get integrated. From Victor, it seems like this is mostly based out of California in terms of farms. I'm in Washington State. Are there farms already using this in Washington State? For Victor, yes. Washington State is actually our home state. It's where Cy, Scott, and Brian started our headset. It's where we got a lot of our inspiration from, based on the way that the farms interact and brands interact with dispensaries here. We got a head start in Washington. So yes, you'd definitely be able to do so. Feel free to ask further questions on my email there. From Steve, headset Bridge also includes sell-through data. Does the KSS tool include sales as well as inventory? Yes. So for the brands, they are able to see the sales and inventory of and only their products. And this allows them to see, if they run a BOGO or a discount or some sort of promotion, vendor appreciation day, you've got a rep in store, things like that. They're able to see those sales and then work with you through that partnership to say, hey, when we did X, we saw sales increase a bunch. We'd love to try and run that with you again, for a more informed partnership. Regarding the forecasting, what is the timeline used to forecast the inventory need, i.e. 4 weeks of sale or 1 week of sale? Does it account for future pickup in sales, i.e. holiday and weekends? So from headset, we typically look at a 60-day time frame. Matt, can you confirm on that where you guys are looking from? Typically, it's set to the last 60 days worth of sales in your headset retailer tool, which you can also use to send orders to your brands. And then we exclude out of stock days. So if you have a product that goes out of stock and you sell 0 in a day, and you pull a report from that, headset will ensure that it's only your sell-through rates when you are in stock of a product. This way, we're not averaging in those zeros. You then have the ability through either the retailer tool, your relationship with your KSS rep, or through KSS Live to then ask for a week worth of product, up to 4 weeks worth of product. You can even go to 12 weeks of product if some people from using headset retailer have done that for merch, just so that they're not ordering too many t-shirts that seem to sit on the shelves for years. Matt, do you have any comment there on the forecasting?
I don't know how many days are used off the top of my head. I'm working on getting an answer to that right now, and once I have it, I will give it to you.
Cool. There's another question for, are they able to see the retail price we are listing products for? They do end up seeing the price that you sell the product for. But if you think about this, this is like, we all have access to the live menus on your, like a dispensary website. Several companies out there will even scrape these websites. So the data that's publicly available is also available through this connection. The only additional piece of information that you are essentially allowing the team access to is those inventory levels in a live time. Is this only applicable on a store by store basis, or can then be used to buy in bulk for all stores at once, say for my distribution hub? So from a headset perspective, they would definitely be able to roll up all of those orders from each of your stores and send that to the distribution hub. Matt or Dion, are there ways that you've worked with folks? Dion looks like he's rolling through the airport, so maybe Matt, you might want to take that one.
No,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm listening.
Yeah, so from the KSS Live side, it doesn't roll up based on what type of company you are. So if you're a distro hub and buying from KSS and shipping out to your own individual retailers, the buying and I guess inventory levels would be by store. It does not roll up. We haven't had, I guess, a request or a use case yet to kind of change that. So that's something that could be on the table for the future.
And Dion, I saw that you unmuted. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to know what the question was. I can answer to that.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah. So say someone has a distribution center and they've got a bunch of stores. How would you interact with that to provide a holistic order for the whole company?
Yeah, I actually don't have a use case on that one personally, but I think it's something that can be worked out. Probably no problem.
Yeah. So from a headset retailer perspective, you would be able to put all of your stores into what we call our reorder report, which would then aggregate all that information to create an order for your bulk distribution hub. You should also note that Matt and Casey over at KSS have hand built this. So I've worked with Casey on recommendations, so this would be something that we could definitely build to include. We are at time, so if anybody has any last remaining questions, feel free to shoot those over. Otherwise, if you'd like to get started today, in the chat there is my email. If you currently have a headset retailer and you are a KSS customer, just request or approve that you're okay for us to connect you guys. And then if you don't have headset yet and you'd like to get started with our free Pulse retailer tool and then connect to KSS, you can use the link that Tyler has dropped in the chat as well. But thanks, Matt and Dion, for joining. Dion, safe flight.
Thank you.
Tyler, I'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
See
See
ya.
you later.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.